Hey guys, Big Dave here for TGN, and it's Monday, and that means it must be time for a war... Hang on a sec. Okay, I'm a little bit sick today. Maybe you can hear it in my nose there, but excuse that if I sound a little stuffy. As I was saying, it's time for Warfronts. Yeah, that's right, Warfronts! Exclamation mark. Warfronts is my Rift PvP show where an average PvE player, that's me, tries to improve his skills at Rift's PvP Warfronts through self-analysis. And just exactly how do we plan to do that? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we're going to use the guidelines. Yeah, that's right, the guidelines. Know them, love them, never look them directly in the eye. This week on Warfronts, we are improvising. Originally, I had planned to take my level 21 cleric into a random Warfront, but unfortunately, when I tried to queue, the queues were over 20 minutes, and after 25 minutes of waiting, I gave up. I went over to my level 45 mage and queued up for the weekend special codex. Yes, indeed, codex is the weekend Warfront for this weekend. You know that because it's highlighted in a lovely shade of cyan on your Warfronts interface. You get bonus favor for doing that Warfront this weekend, and yeah, the queues were pretty quick on that in the 40 to 49 bracket. So we took my mage, who is Necromancer Spect, level 45, into codex. This was a particularly close game, a fairly interesting match, and I really tried to play heavy defense in this match. You'll see that, and also made a couple of interesting, if not perhaps questionable moves throughout the game that we will get into as we single them out as we move forward in this episode of Warfronts. All right, guys, with all that said, I don't think there's any more reason to delay. To the action. All right, skippers. Level 45 mage. You know him, you love him, you've seen him before. We are in Codex. Codex is the weekend Warfront. This weekend bonus favor for playing in this Warfront. We are underway. Of course, as always, I am Necromancer Warlock Spect. I don't even know what my third is. I think I had it changed. I was getting harassed out in the vasts of Shimmer Sand by a rogue, so I had the PvP soul on. So I'm actually technically spec'd into the PvP soul at the moment with no points. So nobody goes for translation scope, and therefore I take it upon myself to do so. That would be quite embarrassing if the entire team bypassed translation scope, wouldn't it? Sure, it's probably happened to you before. I know it's happened to me a few times. So, as we often do in Codex, we have a nice battle going on here, and I come down and make sure that I reinforce whomever might be there, and immediately it has begun. So it's pretty standard here. I'm just now remembering, hey, I need to get underneath the hillside here so I can't be free cast upon. So we are pretty much going to burn this guy down. No problem there. And I figure I see some shots going out to the far allies. Hey, why not? Let's try to cap this. There we go, nice and easy. Fella feels pretty stupid standing right there on his nice little perch and just kind of hanging out while I capped the point out from underneath him. Then again, he didn't really have too much support, so we won't blame him. 3 or 4 of us here. We're going to set up a nice defensive perimeter. I see this guy making his move. I figure he's going to grab the power up, and we'll see him again in a moment. I'm checking. I'm waiting. I'm looking. Oh, is that him? I don't know. I don't see the wings on him. Yeah. So I don't know where that guy went. But, yeah, fella sitting up there on his fancy horse. We'll bring him down and have a little fun. Here we go. I mean, we are in defensive mode. That guy wants none of me. Look at that. I am so, yeah, my head is glowing. I am so intimidating with my brand new cowl that I have. He wants none of it. Lovely. So, yeah, I mean, this is going to be a lot of what this episode of Warfronts is. It is defensive. It is the defensive episode of Warfronts. However, you'll notice the Defiant team is in the lead because the rest of my team has managed to allow them to cap all 3 points, including our home point. Yes, indeed. The statue. I think earlier I said translation scope, but I meant statue. You know how that goes. You flip back and forth between Defiant and Guardian. You forget which is left and which is right, which is up and which is down, and which is a giant sort of magnifying glass and which is a statue of a god of the vigil. So, little AoE just for safety. Feeling a little antsy, feeling a rogue coming, expecting some stealth. Never happens. Really, they don't start the game out very aggressively at all in relation to the codex. 2 or 3 people here. They keep coming in these small waves that are fairly easy for us defenders to handle, but they do continue to consistently harass the other points, which is keeping the game close and, in fact, keeping the Defiants in the lead for the moment. Total miscast on my AoE there. Very nice. Well done. I'm getting a little bit of damage on the fellow there, so I guess I got him just in the border of my grave rot there, so we will allow it. Some people said something about, in a previous video, I'm not using AoEs on this mage. I use AoE constantly. I use grave rot constantly. What you probably didn't realize is that grave rot's animation changed a few weeks ago, and yeah, now it looks like a big, giant, glowing spoogie on the ground, as opposed to a little cloud of death. So yeah, more defense, more of my more of my paranoia, as I am just waiting. I'm trying to get, like, grab a little bit of a line of sight to that guy there. Whatever I can do. I'm just a little bit bored. We'll do a little creative casting here. No, hold on to that for now. And we're just waiting. You know, we're trying to contribute to our team as we just take the lead here. We're trying to contribute the codex. I mean, the codex is the important point to hold, and our contribution here is being defensive players. It's not going to give us great stats, but as you can see, right now we're getting 8 points for every 6 that they get. So we are going to very slowly outpace them and take this match. This match does go on a pretty good while, so yeah, buckle in. Not paying attention. There's a dude standing right there by the point. He could have capped it if I was here alone, but luckily I have some very, very intelligent backup with me. A really skilled bard here who is helping out quite a bit with motifs and other buffs of the sorts. So again, the Defiant team is doing what they can do when we hold codex firmly. They are pushing out to the other points, and they are making our life very difficult. You see, for a moment I'm thinking about going, then I think, no, I'll be smart. I'll be witty here. Jump on my noble whatever the hell this thing is with 2 tails. I'm going to run over here. I'm going to ninja this point. Oh, yeah. That's right. Oh, no, maybe not. So there is a necromancer warlock type fellow over here, and he says, no, sir. A little one-on-one action. I'm guessing this guy's spec more into warlock because he's not sporting a pet. And he's also not soul purging. Soul Purge, yes. I would spam that spell all day long if I could. So now we go over and we grab a quick distraction here. And literally only a distraction. I'll glance back here as I head up the hill towards the codex, and you will notice that they are already retaking it. I'm not even going to move to try to secure that point. All I want is to keep them back on their heels so that we can resecure our statue and we can keep things going here. Go ahead and drink up, because I know that the bard will have a little bit of difficulty healing me up, and I want to be ready for any wave that might come in. I don't shy away from drinking in a battleground. Fuck, did I just say battleground? Cocksucker. Yes, I did. Did I also just say fucking cocksucker? Yes, I did. So yeah, a Warfront. So that guy just loves hanging out up there on his mechanical horse. Not really. He's waiting for his buddy. Okay, kind of watching their plan of action here, watching it come together as they group up. And okay, you go left, you go right. One of them's a bard, so you take him out, right? Okay, here we go. Let's go. No, you go first. You go first. Okay, I'll go. Oh no, here we go. And the battle is on. So actually, this is a pretty good push by these two fellas. So all of that, me making fun of them coordinating this push, it actually egg on the face, because they do a pretty good push here and break us down just a little bit. Trying to concentrate on the cleric here, the healer, doing what we can just to keep the pressure on the cleric. And then there we have a little bit of a rogue. Yes, enjoying a rogue. Somehow my target gets switched in the midst of the battle, and I do get taken down. Now, we are being overrun at the codex. Unfortunately, the rest of the team is busy out playing at other points. And, yeah. So let's talk about things. What have we seen so far? Well, we've seen a lot of defensive play. Not exciting, but it wins games. Or so I hope it wins games, because they've managed, the Defiant team, to stay close. And, yeah, this could get pretty interesting. So there we have it. The Defiants assault the codex, and I spring into action along with a couple of my compatriots there. Yeah, let's take a little ride here. I'm going to hear my chair squeak, squeaky chair. I'm going to sip a little coffee. Oh, that's delicious. Delicious coffee. It is 3:34 a.m. Eastern Time in the morning, and I'm drinking a big giant cup of coffee. That is how I do it. Unfortunately, I'm not cool enough to say that's how I roll, or I would. So again, I descend into the pit here, probably ill-advised, just focusing on getting underneath the awning, as it were, here, the cliff face. And it's not too much trouble for the two of these fellows to put the hurt on me pretty soundly. I do manage to use that new spell. What the hell is that called? It's the Warlock spell. I just got it. And it's a nice AoE heal. This is AoE damage, and it heals me for the damage done. It's very nice. I actually like it a lot, but yeah, it wasn't enough to keep me up. And neither was the Mighty Soul Purge, as you noticed. So the Defiants closing in, and yeah, it's 3-1. They are taking the lead. They're now ahead by 6. Oh my goodness. So in this game, what I'm thinking here at this point is, should I try to take over that mantle of leadership? Should my fingers go to work madly typing out a strategy, or should we just kind of roll with it? Well, I decide to roll with it, and I decide that what I'm going to do is just sort of change things up a little bit. It kind of looks like my team is making some progress. As I look at the mini-map, we seem to have good numbers on the codex, so I roll immediately over to the translation scope. I'm thinking, there's the assault on the codex. I'm thinking, if we assault the codex, let's go ahead and give them something else to think about. This will give us the 20 seconds that we need to get the codex secured. So I rush out here, knowing that I'll probably lose this fight, or that he'll be quickly reinforced. I still go out, and I still go ahead and start casting on this fella. Doing what I can, CC, but ultimately, I'm not going to win this 2-on-1. I wasn't going to win the 1-on-1 either. It just happened to become a 2-on-1 so I could look all tough, like, oh, I sacrificed myself. But in effect, I do. I sacrificed myself. At least I delayed those reinforcements. Am I giving myself, what's the military award for doing something great and dying? I can't even. Medal of Honor? I don't know. No, I'm not giving myself a medal, but I'm doing what little I can. Because I didn't think I could make it up to the codex in time to make a real difference, I decided to just try a different strategy. I mean, it was questionable. Did it pay off? Well, I don't really know if it paid off or not. It delayed those guys a couple of moments, and maybe it made a couple of people stutter their step as they saw me taking the translation scope. So now we are up 3-1, and the codex is looking a bit hectic. So I come in, drop my AoE, and immediately get to work. Now, this is an interesting game overall, because as you see, it's neck and neck. I mean, the changes that were made to the codex, I guess it must be a couple of months ago now, the capture times were lowered. It's made a lot of the games more interesting. I mean, when it's a rollover, it's still, you just steamroll somebody, it's still pretty much the same as always. But those changes, those little changes that were made to make it faster to capture something, really mean that the points swap back and forth very, very frequently. And that leads to closer games, and to me it leads to games which are more enjoyable. That is a devilish pentagram on the ground there. So for some reason I decided to use my little spell there, the AoE, really kind of ineffective at that moment, but we go ahead and clear out here, and now we're secure. We're secure with the codex. We have the statue locked down. They are retaking 2 of the other points, but we've secured this victory essentially. There's very little that they could do to shift the balance here. So this has been a hard-fought game, and it was really close fall in a little hole there. It was really close. You see, I'm getting kind of antsy here. I'm thinking, oh man, should I push out? Should I push out? But I decide, no, I'm going to be a good defender. I'm going to do the thing that I should do. I'm going to stay here because while I don't think there's any possible way they could win from here, I want to make sure that I'm doing my job. And that's weird miscast of my AoE there. I think I heard I heard the rogue noise, but it was my own rogue on my own team, I think, that made the noise. So I heard the rogue noise and I panicked and I cast my AoE, like the cat-like reflexes there of the AoE cast. So here we get a little bit of action at the end of the game, but all in all, pretty boring end here. So this was quite a match of the codex, well contested. It was fun. I played some really, really effective defense. Could I have played a better game? Certainly. Could I have played a more aggressive game? Well, of course I could have. And we'll take a quick look at the statistics here. Despite being very defensive, pretty good on the damage. Got a lot of favor for that bracket. Very nice. A few deaths. I played fairly conservatively. Hit up there with kills with everybody else. All the people who joined originally. This is a good one here. We'll come back to this. That's kills near a point. And, control points defended, assaulted. So, again, I did a lot of capturing in that game, most of anyone on my team. So there's one way to contribute, and this is the other way. Kills near a control point. Tied for number 1 on that. That just tells you that I was on defense. Defense. And that's a good stat. I'm glad that is in the summary so that you can see, hey, here are a couple of people who were really doing their job. And with that, I think we are done with this game. Let's talk about what we've learned, folks. Lessons learned. First up, we learned that defense is a vital part of any control point scenario, whether it is PvP in an MMO or whether it's an FPS, it doesn't really matter. If you've got to capture and then control something, those defending it are going to be the ones that really make or break your game. Maybe it's not always that fun. Maybe you're not in the spotlight when you're a defender, but you are a vital part of the victory. If there had been even one of us who had decided on that defensive team, that 3 or 4 folks that hung out by the point, the codex point, if even one of us had decided, you know what, I'd rather be racking up a few more damage points, a few more kills or killing blows, I'm going to head over here to where the action is. I'm going to head over to the statue. I'm going to go try to ninja cap the vault, whatever. It would have been a very different game. We wouldn't have been able to repel a couple of the attacks. We wouldn't have been able to retake it when we did retake it. It was that same core defensive group that was retaking the codex even after it had been lost. So defense, it might not always be exciting, it might not always be glamorous, but it is vital. We also learned that sometimes you need a leader, and sometimes you just need to trust everybody to do what they know they need to do. There was a moment in that battle after the codex was captured where I thought, I could type a bunch of stuff into the Warfront chat about how we need to shape up and we need to do this and capture this and forget about grabbing that and blah, 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 but I didn't. And we won, because everybody did what they were supposed to do. Now, that doesn't necessarily always happen in a pug, but it's a good lesson to take away. We're at higher levels now when we play on my mage. We're in the 40s. We're approaching level 50. A lot of these people know what they're doing, more so than the 20 bracket, more so than the teens bracket. So trust these people that they're going to know what they're doing. Now, at the same time, very often they won't know what they're doing, but you've got to give them that chance. Before you start barking orders and alienating your teammates, just give them a chance to regroup and do the right thing, okay? No one was going to listen to me if I took charge in that battleground, so it's better that I just get on task and do my part, because that's what ends up happening. You spend a lot of time trying to direct the battle, you take yourself out and put yourself in the position of general when what they really need is another foot soldier. So go out there, do what you're supposed to do, trust that your teammates will do what they're supposed to do, and yes, on occasion you will get burned by that, no doubt, but cross your fingers and do what you're supposed to do and hope that they will follow along behind you. And finally, I learned that International Delight Chai Latte Coffee Creamer is pretty darn good, even at 3:45 in the morning. Alright, but seriously, let's talk a little bit about the future of Warfronts. I don't mean the future in that scary sort of, I'm not going to be doing this show anymore because it bores me and I'm quitting Rift sort of way. but in the sense that my mage is level 45, and I've committed to leveling him up to level 50 as soon as humanly possible. I got 3-4 levels over the weekend. I'm really pushing him hard. When he gets to 50, the whole thing is going to change. Well, not the whole thing. When I choose to use my mage, we will be focusing on high-end PvP stuff, level 50 stuff. I'll use a PvP spec. I will attempt to get PvP gear, to actually play like I have some sense. When I decide to play with my other characters, my sub-50 characters, Warfronts will remain unchanged. It will be a game about learning those characters, learning the different ways that they function in a Warfront, how best to use them, etc., etc. The mage will become the place where I really start to hone my skills. I really start to be super critical and really try to push myself to learn a PvP spec and to really, really do well at it. Okay, 2 quick things before we wrap up. Number 1, head over to TGN's main channel, youtube.com/TGN. Click on shows and look for the Rift show. Yes, there's a Rift show over on the main TGN channel. Now, one day, all of TGN's Rift content may be there. For now, we have our own channel, but channels are sort of becoming blasé in the world of YouTube in favor of shows. Shows are essentially a channel within a channel. If you don't want to subscribe to a whole channel, for instance, TGN's Variety Gaming, if you don't care about APB or Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine or Minecraft, fine. Go to the shows and subscribe to the Rift show. Once you're subscribed to the Rift show, you will only get the postings that are posted within the Rift show. You won't subscribe to the entire TGN channel. And like I said, Togrim, as well as other Rift directors who may not necessarily post on the Rift channel, may occasionally post things on the Rift show. So subscribe to that. Make sure that you check it out. I do post my general sort of Rift content there, like the Rift half birthday announcement that I did. So watch for that kind of stuff. Watch for stuff from great players like Togrim, as well as other folks who might give Rift a try within the TGN family. And finally, for those who have persevered through this long 20 minutes, let me offer you the opportunity to win something. If you go over to my Variety Gaming channel, that's Big Dave is Cheap, youtube.com/Big Dave is Cheap. Check the description for the link. I am giving away a copy of Darksiders. If you don't know, Darksiders is released by THQ. It was created by Vigil Games. It is a fantastic hack and slash, sort of heaven, hell, Armageddon sort of themed game. It is really, really a nice game. I find myself with a spare copy, and I'm giving it away to folks over on my home channel. So head over there, watch the video, Darksiders plus giveaway, and that'll give you all the details you need on how to win that great, great game. You can also head over to my Rift channel, that is youtube.com/Tales of Talara, where I've started a little leveling diary sort of thing. I'm doing it every couple of days. The first episode is up. One will be up either tonight or tomorrow. Check those out. It's just me rambling as if you haven't had 21 and some odd minutes of that already. Thanks for watching episode 16 of Warfronts, and until next time, guys, take it easy.